I'm going to go over the Unit 2 assignment because I don't think the class material does a good job of explaining how to do the assignment. Some of the stuff you submitted looks amazing. So I am hoping that this will just enhance the experience and how I take the ham sandwich story, concept, and add it to this assignment, plus talk about the Potter 5 forces analysis and also the SWOT analysis to introduce it to you, hopefully in a way you can understand it in enough depth that you can apply it. Okay, so let's get this out of the way real quick. Now I always try to start for most tasks or tasks that are complex into a Word document. I know the assignment is for a presentation, but I think there is an important methodology to having a consistent way of solving problems, solving tasks that you be given, especially if they're very complex. And then you can take that and move it into the presentation. Some of you guys may go directly to the presentation. That's okay by me, as long as you don't miss some of the tasks that are required by the assignment. And that's what I'm afraid of, is I want to make sure that you are the kind of guy that is able to provide a solution to every task you're given in a very comprehensive way without overdoing it, right? So you got to be able to answer the questions, ATQ. All right, so let's go to the assignment real quick. So obviously the assignment is located at the top here, assignments. You can see the Unit 2 assignment, Strategic Information Systems Analysis Presentation. You click on that. These are what the instructions are. You kind of read through this for information. You see what the rubric is located and what's required from every section. You click on this link and it takes you to instructions. Like I showed probably in class, hopefully, if we have had a class, I basically just take the whole thing and copy. So I'm just about to paste. Again, right now I'm not reading it. I'm just breaking it all in. We know it's done. Now this has changed. It's no longer on Tuesday. It's due on Sunday now. But I copy that, and then I open my template for the assignment, my Word document. Bring that up. Okay, this is a template that I gave you guys in an announcement earlier last week, I believe. If you don't have it, it's about to be published. And basically, it gives you my requirements for IFSM, and this template is basically located here, this number one thing here. And this template is generic. It's for all your future assignments. And again, I'm trying to teach you a consistent way of doing something. If you choose something else, that's fine. Just don't miss the requirements of the assignment. So, I get rid of stuff I don't need. Boom, make sure this is in the middle. I fill out the information. Remember, this information, complete it here, but it's going to be imported into the PowerPoint. So these are the template areas that if you were writing a paper from scratch, you need to do, right? The title of the paper, level 2 headings, level 3 headings. For this assignment, I'm going to substitute this because I'm not really writing a completely APA paper formatted. It just gives me the title page and the references, everything else. What's important here is to follow these instructions. So I'm going to take all of this out. I'm going to keep the reference page in, and I'm going to substitute that with the instructions. And I normally go with let's just see what it gives with it just pasted it. Okay, that's the instructions here, right? All right, so now that I have this, you can do it on the document or print it out. In the old days, I will print it out and we'll go through each line and I will mark what's information, what's basic data, and what is the task I need to complete. In here, because I want to illustrate it, I'm going to do all electronically here too. Tasks may come to you in many forms. It may be verbal, it may be written, it may be an email. You're just going to have to adapt to whatever people send you, and then make sure you put it into some type of document that you can address every task. So in here, what's getting complicated is that they give you a lot of information, and it's not all dedicated to the task. One more thing I'm going to do here before I forget is pick a standard format, which is normally something like Times Roman. Arial also work, and the font is going to be 12. That's standard for pretty much all of the APA stuff too. So let's start going through the assignment real quick. This is the assignment, a strategic system information analysis presentation. Actually, you know what? That works like a great title for this assignment. So I'm going to use my title, and based on what you the presentation is after, you may well put in here like a company name or whatever, whatever you want to use for that too. Just remember, all of this has to be center and in the middle of the page. If this was a paper, again, we're gonna move this all to a presentation, but again, I like to start with a standard methodology. So that's gonna be my presentation. This seems too informational. Is what you're gonna do. Okay, that's okay. That's good information to evaluate the ability to analyze. What you need to have, associated skills, identify principles of effective data government, evaluating proper data management technologies, demonstrating strategic thinking. Good, informational. Now instructions, right? You will think that this is where the task stand, but not necessarily. You will demonstrate your ability. You will demonstrate. That's kind of seems like the same thing of associated skills. So, okay, I got it. Now, case study. This is important, right? This is what explains the case study you're going to use to make your analysis. In this case, we're talking about global retail solutions. What they are, how big they are, and what are the key challenges, which is goals, challenges, opportunities. They're all going to be here. And all of a sudden you see this plethora of information about the organization. And so this is really the basis for the studies. So again, that's why I put it in the middle, which is important, is what you're going to make your analysis on or based on. Okay. So the next one, deliverables. Okay, deliverables. And like I taught this before, you would think this is where the task starts, right? This is the outline. They better than that. Instead of writing a bunch of paragraphs together that you have to break into pieces and parts, this one is already provided for you as an outline. A deliverable is what you're going to give to them. So this is basically the format. Obviously, we're talking about presentation, so this is key here. Professional presentation that is about 12 to 15 slides with comprehensive speaker notes. Oh, that's another important information. What I normally do is I will put a circle on this one and treat it as a task, right? And it's basically two things, a presentation, and you also have this task to do the with comprehensive speaker notes. So far so good. And now they have made it very easy to you. They have put in here what the strategic analysis needs to accomplish. 3 to 4 slides. Apply strategic framework. We're going to talk about that here in a second. And they're giving you choices. They're giving you Potter, 5 forces, SWOT analysis, and balance scorecards to analyze the ERS current situation. Identify key strategic priorities based on your analysis, and explain how information systems can support the priorities. Perfect. Guess what? You got your first 3 or 4 slides. One that talks about, 1 or 2 that apply the strategic framework. This is the third slide on this. You get the title. I'm not including the title. Identify key strategic priorities, which is probably based on the case scenario and the list of things the CEO listed, and explain how information system can support these priorities. So now you have the analysis, and we're going to go into that. You get the key strategies, you talk about that, and now you're going to talk about how information systems are going to support those priorities. You're done. You have the outline for the 3 to 4, probably 4 slides. Then you're going to move to the next section, decision support systems, right? What are those? We're going to talk about those in a second. Identify a specific information solution that will be supported. They already do that for you. Basically, You got the operational decision making, which is the day to day. You got the tactical decision making, which is the regional manager, and the strategic decision making, which is the long term, big picture stuff too, right? That you need. And if you notice in the context, they talk about TPS and point of sale transactions, and they already, whether you realize or not, in the content material, they've been telling you things that apply to each level here. And then for each level, explain how the proposed system will improve decision quality and business outcomes. So that is the big thing that you have to do. And I'm gonna move it over, put the big O there too. It's basically a check mark that basically says, okay, I have to accomplish that. I gotta do the slides, one for operational, one for tactical, one for strategic. But now I have to talk on each one about how this proposed system on each section will improve decision making. And it's not just decision quality, but it's also this idea of one, decision quality, and two, business outcomes. So to me, those are two subsets of that question that need to be answered. Boom and boom. All right. Then the third part is data governance, 3 to 4. In the content material, you'll find things that talk about data governance. I will also, this will be a great place, both in decision support systems and in data governance, will be two great areas to research outside the class material. You know, what decision support system supports operational decision making? What decision support system supports the tactical, I would say, marketing campaigns or management, middle management? And then what decision systems are there that will support strategic decision making? And then now we're talking about ERPs, right? Enterprise resource planning, that kind of stuff too. Another thing with governance, the same thing. It's an area that you could use to look for external sources that talk about IT governance in the in the business organization. We talk a little bit about IDLE and in the class, and we're going to talk a little bit about some of the other governance things that are mentioned there. And then the last layer is an implementation roadmap. How would you take now these this strategy, this information systems that you're talking about, and how would you implement it? I recommend that instead of putting like dates, 1 month for this, 1 month for that, I would suggest you did phases, because phases don't necessarily depend on dates. And at this time, to be honest, this case study is so minimal. You don't know how long something is gonna take, so do that. And then references. We already have a slide. We already have a section for references in the template. So you have to do is replace it with the ones that you actually research. And then going back to this, and that should be the outline, but not so fast, right? No task comes to you with complete clarity. So now they have this thing called submission guidelines, which, wait a second, we kind of did this, right? It's giving you another outline for things you have to accomplish. Some of it is formatting, use a strategic framework, pick a relevant strategic. So to me, this sounds like things that go with, and I'm gonna actually take it from here with that first slide that we did here. And I'm gonna paste it to match the formatting. So now I have all the things that I need to do in here. So it's kind of instruction of apply. To me, it's the same thing. Use strategic framework, pre-relevant, okay. Show highly analytic aspects of information system plan. Show thoughtful insight. So these are like, did you accomplish these things in your analysis? And they belong in this area of your slide. So instructions or additional tasks that need to be included in that slide. Then the next step talks about decision making again. I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to bring it to the decision making part here, and I'm going to add them, and I'm going to look at them as additional things that need to be at each explain how each system. Okay, so this one is a task. This one needs to go here. Mention the new tech like, whoa, that adds to it, because now it's adding more tasks to those slides. They'll find the right the right system is kind of obvious, right? That kind of goes with this over here. But now my lines got a little bit more complex because I got additional tasks to accomplish. I have to explain how a system helps solve real business problems. And then I have to mention any new tech like AI that also. So I'm going to put those as kind of the big O I've been using, capital O, to kind of, again, in my hand version of this, I will do squares and circles and dash to make sure I accomplish those things. And then, did I screw something up? Oh, I did. Yep. Oh, there's more. I forgot about this one. And then for each level, I have to explain. Let me just go back a little bit. For each system, I have to do this, right? How proposed system will improve decision quality and business outcomes. So we got that piece out. That was part of the outline, so I can delete it from here. All right, data governance turn now here. Again, I already have a slide up here for data governance. It didn't have any task underneath it, but now it does. So we have to address these three things. So you suggest a clear plan for managing data quality, security, and rules, include practical steps, and show how good data practices help the business. The implementation part, let me see what else is in here. That one, I'll delete that one. It doesn't say more. That's it. There's no instructions. So basically, these are other tasks for completing the assignment, which are basically make sure you keep your slides clean, add speaker notes, and use diagrams and research the sources, which we kind of, maybe this one we can, maybe we can move this one to this requirement here. Boom. So if you notice, I now have my outline, and it sounds to me that these are mostly format requirements of the assignment. Boom, boom, boom. So now you have the outline for your exam, clear and bearing other stuff too. So what I'm gonna copy and what I will do now is I'm gonna address the tasks that are required. Create a slide presentation, right? And normally what I will do is I will open a PowerPoint now, right? I already have kind of one here set up for you guys. Let me just assume for now that it's blank. Let me just insert, and that you have a title page, and that you have, let me insert another slide there. And then what you're gonna do is take this outline. Now, like I mentioned before, normally what I do is I will do the work in here, answer every question in here, and then transfer it. I'm gonna, because of time's sake, I'm actually gonna copy each requirement into the slides. So I'm gonna work through the slides. That's so it can save us some time. So I got professional slide presentation, comprehensive speaker notes. Don't forget those two. So I'm gonna copy this section over here. And again, right now I'm just copying it in there too, so I know what I understand. This is obviously the title, so I'm gonna take it over there and put it over here, right? So what have I done? I'm just meeting the ham sandwich. Again, we know this is gonna be 3 to 4, and then some of these will become my slides. All right, I'm gonna go to the next one. The next section is 3 to 4 slides. And make sure I go the way down. Poof. And I'm gonna insert another slide. Again, I put it there, poof. We know that this is your title here. Poof, put it on the top. And now these are my tasks the way I need to do them, okay? I'm gonna go for the next section, data governance. Here's my data governance slide. And same thing. I will insert a new slide, put the instructions in there. We know the title is data governance. Copy that to the top, and then you're gonna use 3 to 4 slides. implementation roadmap, very little, no real guidance on that, where you're supposed to be there. And it is what it is. You're gonna find that most people don't give you all the information you need, and you have to figure out how to do some of those stuff too. But like I mentioned, decide between timeline or FaceTime. And my recommendation is always start with the phase approach to the implementation plan, because you can always change a phase, delay, add, when timelines become a little bit more rigid until you know more. Okay, so data, and then I'm gonna have a slide for references. Okay, so insert new slide. It's gonna be called references. Okay, so I basically now took my assignment. Let me just move this out of the way a little bit before I get into this part. This is for later, so I can get into explain these areas. So I have my slides and my outline set up. I got a title page, I got strategic analysis, all the task requires, and again, we are going to add 3 to 4 slides. So if you want to, you can start adding those slides. 1, 2, 3 with a 4th one. This one requires 3 to 4, so insert again new slide, and I'm gonna just add 4, and then this for data governance requirements, new slide, 1, 2, 3 more for a total of 4. Implementation 2 to 3 slides. So I'm gonna add 2 more for the one that has completed. So now you have your basic outline. Now I'm starting to think about how I'm gonna split this, right? Apply strategic framework. We're gonna talk about that here in a second. Identify strategic priorities. So I think from here on, I'm gonna create one slide that has the actual picture of the strategic framework. Let me get my picture open now so you can see me better. So I want to put that up front. So that's going to be my picture, and then I'm going to get into the explanations, right? Key strategies. Another thing is on this one, remember you're going to have to do a lot of analysis in the speaker notes. You have a picture, but you're going to have to write for each section your detailed analysis. Some people will, depending on how the bullets are, like this will be a picture. I may add another slide here where I do a little bit more of that detail. Like in the strength, I will address strength concerns. So I may add more than 4 slides, breaking every section properly. And then key strategic, that's probably going to be an important thing. So I'm probably going to move this one to the top here. And explain how information can support, use strategic framework, pick a relevant strategy framework and apply well, show how your analysis connects. So what's happening here is that these are like explanation notes for what you're supposed to do. So what I'm going to do with those ones is I'm going to put them right in the notes to make sure I don't forget them. So if you notice here, boom. So now they're going to be the framework of my answers here. And then same thing, key strategic, explain how information can support priorities based on use a strategic framework. So in here, you're going to basically talk about the strategies and the comments by the CEO, and you're going to use that strategic framework. So I'm going to kind of leave that there. And then these are going to be part of my speaker notes. Poof, boom, and boom. All right. Now next slide. Decision support system. Identify specific system. Blah. And this one has a lot. Oof, this one has a lot here. And probably what I'm going to do here is probably create a title page called Decision Support System. And then what I would do is I will take this and make the first 3 and make them all some type of a title page. So let's actually, I'm going to do something a little bit different here. I'm going to get rid of the white ones. What I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this slide, 1, 2, and 3. So the first one explains the whole thing. The second one is going to be my operational. So I'm going to start changing the titles. Boom. So this is going to be my operational. I'm going to cut that out. My next one, so this is operational, is going to be the tactical. Get rid of the strategic part of it. I'm going to get rid of that here too. And then the third one, I probably need to duplicate this one, duplicate that one. And it's going to be the third one is going to be, let me make sure, decision support, operational, tactical, and this one is going to be my strategic. Boom. And now what I focus on is answering every slide with those tasks. So far so good. Did I leave anybody behind? And then decision support, identify specific formation system solutions that will support identifying the right system for different management levels, tactical. So basically what this is doing is now you're going to also break it into tactical, operational. So I would do that. I would create a slide for that and then explain to them how those things work at each level. So I may do the same thing, right? I may take this one, put a title page. Let me insert that first. New slide. Make it a title page and call this section decision making or something like that. And then this will be my first one, operational decision making. Boom. There we go. Then I will copy that one again, duplicate it. And now this is going to become my tactical decision making. All right. I guess I could get rid of those two titles there. Then the next one, strategic decision making. I'm not. Oh, I have to create another slide. I forgot. Duplicate. I'm gonna call this one now strategic decision making. Poof. Okay. And now what I have here, I may have to go back and do some cleanup, right? Boom. See another one. No. Yep, the cleanup. Boom. So now I have the templates for the next 3 slides for decision making. And then suggest a clear plan for managing data quality, security. So maybe you want to break that into 3 slides too. One that deals with data quality, one that deals with security concerns and rules. Actually, that probably could be the same. Include practical steps the company could actually follow. Maybe that could be another slide. Actually, the way I envision this will be one slide, and then this will be another slide, and then this is more of a note. So we'll get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of that, and duplicate this. So I will have one slide for each. For the sake of time, I'm not going to do that. Just going to leave it like that. And then the implementation road plan. This one, it's up to you. This should be a phase 1, analysis. Like I'm already thinking, most phase applications, there's the analysis, planning, implementation, and something like and this one is hard because we really are not giving much for a follow-up, but maybe let's say in here you may want to include test and evaluation. You may want to look at actual implementation. And something kind of like maintenance. And it's up to you. Again, the book doesn't get too deep into it. We're not breaking into details, so I'm going to let you guys figure out how your suggestions will be implemented. And one thing I will tell you is that because you're looking at operational, tactical, and strategic, right? You're going to have to consider what levels will be affected. Let me just see if I can back up this out real quick. I'm going to put that. Consider implementation at tactical level, at operational level, which is kind of manager level, and then strategically, which is that CO level, and then strategically, and then you have to think about how to do that and how to face each area. Let me just clean this up a little bit. Consider. Bingo. All right. Does that make sense? So now you have this last you have to, and then the references is just our references. Now I go back to my template here, right? And I know that this is what I need to put for a title. Just paste it there for now. You decide where it goes and what it's going to look like. Boom. And the references. Oh, I forgot one thing. Full date. Put the full date at the bottom here. And then references. You already have a format for references. Again, these are two examples. They don't apply to our case, but they're placeholders right now for what the assignment will look like. So you're gonna go over here and you're gonna list them there, references, right? So that gives you the format for it too. If you want to make it look like APA formatting, you can do this. You can actually build a 1/2-inch indent here. See how I did that very easy, which is the APA formatted way of listing. I like that because it keeps it consistent, and I think it's a good thing. All right, let me fix that real quick. Half and move a bit over. Okay, there you go. All right. So now you stop. And how long did that took? Maybe, I know it seems painful, but what I just did was create an outline that I now have to answer. Instead of reading instructions, this is very important, and just making it up as it goes, and maybe possibly missing something important. This way, I ensure that what I did now follows every task that I'm supposed to do. No graphics, no, there's a requirement for visuals if you remember the instructions, but right now it's just the outline, and you just focus on answering the questions. Now, what normally happens is that you go out there and you pick this and you start writing, and then you get into this one and you start writing, and then what happens is by the time you get to the third or fourth task, you burn out and you start skipping things, and you can start eliminating things, and that's what I'm trying to avoid. I know that you put the effort up front so that you now can focus on the elephant by pieces, and that's what I'm trying to do. Now, let me talk about this Potter analysis, and I got a couple things to say about that. The first one is, and I already built some charts for you guys that I didn't before. I'm gonna just use standard templates, what they look like. I'm gonna move this up the chart because this is where they belong, right? Let's go to the top. Come on, move. Okay, let me just cut them. Cut and add. SWOT analysis. Let's put them right here next to this place. Okay. So this is kind of the template. We can get rid of that. That was mainly for me to remember what it is. So now what we need to do is apply it. So you started with this template, and I'm going to explain SWOT analysis in a second. and you list the three top strengths, three top weaknesses, three top opportunities, and threats that you see for the analysis. There's also another template that I've seen out there used, and it's more linear. The only problem with this is that it doesn't show the relationships, and with this one, you can already see that there is relationships that go with it. So, how does the strength support your opportunities? How do your strengths can overcome your weaknesses? How your strength can overcome your threats? Similarly, when you look at weaknesses, how do your weaknesses compare to your strength, or there are things that the strength cannot overcome? So you can actually do a cross analysis of every quadrant against each other. So when you answer the question more in detail, I think it's here. Explain it. Let me get rid of this slide. Identify how information systems can support these priorities. Use a framework. Pick a relevant strategy for the frameworks and apply it. See how the analysis, I guess this is the important one. See how your analysis connect to your information plans. How thoughtful insight you're going to make an assessment of how these quadrants interact within each other on the basis of the case that you've been given. Okay? Let me bring the other, which is Potter. Again, Potter is here. Now, again, I'm going to get into this more. You only have to pick one. I'm just showing you both, as you can see what they actually kind of look like in the presentation side. There are many other formats you can use. Just know that these are just two that I picked. If you notice, this has the space to add that information, and then you do your analysis here, or in another slide you can provide big bullets that highlight because some of the analysis you have done. Same thing with here. What I've done in the past is I drew this and actually listed the threats to new entrants on the side of the box, or I created a box where I could put threats of new entrants and then list it almost like you do here what they are. All right. And then you follow on with the same questions you had before. How your analysis connect to information system plan, show thoughtful insight, not a surface level. So you put a lot of thinking into this. So let me talk real quick about Potter and SWOT, and then we'll finish the video. There is tons of information out there that you can use. I'm going to highlight a couple. I am going to publish a couple things for you. This is not finished, but I'm going to give you videos that you can watch to I guess I went back to the material. I realized they just don't give you enough information to accomplish this. So I'm gonna publish this with videos that you can follow and use to decide which one you can use, including the balance scorecard. So let me pull out some of the stuff that I also already pulled out for you. With it, and this links again. I'm gonna update the list here. This is a video that shows you how Potter is viewed. This kind of gives you the theory behind what you need to do. And this is also another source that discusses the Potter 5 forces in more detail. I love this diagram. I really love this chart. And I think you may copy this and actually use it in your charts. Again, no big deal, just put a reference that it came from this source. But I think I love how this kind of gives you bullets to go on each of the areas that you need to answer. So please pay attention to this one. All right, I'm going to jump to the other resources now, to Potter video that explains how to use it, how it is applied. Let me turn that off now. And then I'm also pulling this one out for you. Advertisement. Give me a second. Hate that. Skip. This is another a video of how to apply a Potter analysis. More on SWOT there at the end. Okay, so you're gonna have that at your so you're not on your own. And then I'm also gonna include Potter's. I think this was a Harvard Business article that explains it in detail. And I'm gonna finish with that real quick. Let me open it. to open attachment. I was mentioning to you guys that as you mature in your classes, you should have a little folder toolkit that you put information. This article needs to go in there, and you need to read it. But it kind of explains a way of looking at business, not from a one-on-one competition. Because when we talk about competition, that's what you guys think. You think you're talking about, McDonald's and Burger King. This kind of expands your brain a little bit and talks of it from the other areas. We think very linearly, whether it's socially or politically or whatever, friendships, it's all very linear. But that's not real life. Life is actually more like a globe, and you're in the center of it with a sky of stuff that happens all around you. And this kind of does that for you. It makes you look at business not from my competition, but from other areas you need to look at. So again, I'm going to include this article in my email that's about to come out. I'm gonna use the same announcement I published earlier. I'm gonna update it. I'm gonna include these things in it, so you can have background on what to do, or understand better what Potter does. This could take a whole 2-hour class, but it's not too much of a reading, but it will allow you to see things a little bit better, especially if you focus on the main topics like threat. What is threat of entry? The power of suppliers. Again, don't read the whole thing. Just read those first few paragraphs. That will help you with this. The threat, what the threats of substitutes are, and that kind of stuff too. Rivalry among existing competitors. I will explain that. Or if I didn't explain it, I explain it in class. This just gives you more detail to go to. All right, folks. So now you did a ham sandwich. Brought instructions into an outline. Got it? You saved that. Let's assume you saved it. Yes, I saved it. And then you have now your power, and then you now have your outline to complete the assignment. So what I'm expecting to see is these questions in the outline answer. Please give me a call if you have any questions. I hate doing videos because I always find myself looking in the wrong place. I apologize for that. It is what it is. I'm not the most eloquent. I don't have the suave voice that some of people may have, but my heart is in hopefully getting the information to you guys so you can accomplish this properly. So with that, sayonara, goodbye, adios. Call me. You got my number. You got my email if you have any questions. But I want to emphasize one more time. Use the Ask Your Questions Here forum to ask all questions, because I want everyone to benefit from the answer. So use that forum to ask questions. God bless you all. Take care. Adios.